Immigration. Its solutions, home remodeling, insurance, real estate planning, and the ancient wisdom of Vastu. Elevate your living and make informed decisions with the insights and strategies shared by Nagraj Annaya. Stay tuned for an enlightening experience.
Inflation on the rise, mortgage rates fluctuating. Are these warning signs for brewing storm in the Bay Area real estate market? The housing market seems poised for a change. But wait, what does it mean for buyers and sellers? I'm Nagaraj Annaya, your trusted Bay Area realtor, and I'm here with the mortgage consultant, mortgage expert, April L, to break down the trends and uncover what's really happening in the market. Hi, April, welcome to the show.
Hi, Nagaraj. Thank you very much.
Listeners, this is not just another market cycle. This could be a turning point. Join us as we navigate through the complexities and uncertainties of today's housing market. Welcome to the Real Estate Show, and our studio line numbers are 877 Bali 92. It's easy to remember 877 Bali 92. You can give us a call. We are live, and I'm talking to April, and we are going to talk anything of the Bay Area real estate and interest rates today. April, how is the current interest rate, like especially current inflation rate impacting the Bay Area real estate market? What do you think?
Rates have been doing fantastic. They have come down a lot in the past year. So, with the Fed rate cuts that took place, those have been basically forecasting. Our rates basically have gone down the last 2 months.
Oh, that's good. Listeners, if you're looking to buy a house and if you want to refinance, and if you would like to know what is the current refinance rates, and if you just bought a house with a 10% down, is it a good time to buy refinance? If you would like to know, you can give us a call. Our studio line numbers are 877 Bali 92. Myself, Realtor Nagaraj Anaya, and I'm talking to April, and we're talking about Bay Area real estate market and mortgage related today. So, right now, you said that due to inflation and there was a 0.5% cut. So, what are the current rates like for the ARM and 30-year fixed, April?
Yeah, so the ARM loans are down to 5.375% for a 5.5 ARM, which is fixed for 5 years and adjusts every 5 years. And
Mhm.
the 30-year fixed rates are down to 5.875%. And those are 0 point rates. So that is a huge departure from the highest, which we saw the eights back last year.
So, it's a ARM rates are 5.375 APR, right?
That's correct.
Wow, that's a great rates. Like listeners, if you bought a house recently and your rates were 6% or a 6.5% and would like to know how to refinance it, you can give us a call. Our studio line numbers are 877 Bali 92. Myself, Realtor Nagarajan Iyer, and I'm talking to April on the current mortgage trends and Bay Area real estate market. So that's for a 5.375 or the purchase and even the refinance rates of 5.375.
That's correct. Yeah. Sometimes certain investors for cash out and different refinance, a lot of times they'll have different rates, but my rates, my investor is the same.
But I have one question here. If somebody has bought a house maybe a 4 months or a 5 months back, okay, and their rates were like, for example, 6.25, 6.5%. Let's assume it's a 6.25, 6.5. But they bought a house for like six with a 15% down. What do they in this case? How do they go about? Should they wait for a 20% to accumulate? And how do they go about it?
Not necessarily. I think as long as we look at the break even point and it's a short period of time,
Mm-hmm.
it do it now because probably interest rates are going to continue to go down. The Fed is going to cut rates next year, so it's definitely forecasted. So as long as it makes sense, you do it. And if it makes sense again next year, you do it again. It's very similar to what happened in the 2000s for us, that we had some pretty aggressive drops in the interest rate. And so
So is it a warning sign, like especially interest rates cutting down? and inflation are all-time high. And maybe we can ask your one more expert sitting next to you, maybe what he has to say.
Yes, yes. I'm not sure she'll know as much, but she thinks she does.
She doesn't
My
know.
little feline friend.
That, I think that's what I would like to say. Nobody knows what happens in the future. That's what I wanted to ask, right? Like nobody doesn't know how it is going to be in the next 6 months, right? But whatever is a current, it's a current. But if the rate drops in next 6 months, you can go always do a refinance.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing about Bay Area real estate is even we never expect anything to happen what happened in 2008. That was a catastrophe of many different things. But the one thing, even during that difficult time where things were devalued, Bay Area real estate holds its value like no other area in the country, really, that I
That's a
saw.
great point what you said. I would like to agree on that. It's like our Bay Area is nothing compared to anywhere place in the US real estate market. If somebody is talking about the US real estate market, but they try to compare it to you, Bay Area, that's wrong. Always treat a Bay Area real estate separately, maybe a separate entity, because that's what are the different reasons, right? Like the higher income and lesser homes around here, all this makes a difference. Listeners, if you don't agree on this and you bought a house recently and you want to refinance and would like to know more about this, you can give us a call. Our studio line numbers are 877 Bali 92, 877 Bali 92, our studio line numbers. And we are talking all about the Bay Area real estate market and the mortgage trends. So, one of the thing, as we said, like we can't compare this to anything in the any of the US real estate market.
No, holds its value completely. So it
I think, see, the rates might sometimes go down, or like even the home prices might go down, but it will not drop 50%, or it will not drop like altogether to 0%.
correct. The demand is just so high in that area. Where are you going to build? You know, you can't build where everybody wants to live. You have to go out farther. So the areas that are closer and when people don't want to drive in the traffic to work, so it definitely holds its value.
Yeah, I think as you said, right, especially right now because the rates are dropping in the homes which are very close to the offices like Santa Clara, Sunnyvale, Mountain View, Palo Alto, uh, all this Milpitas, Fremont. I'm seeing a surge in the home prices. Surge in the home prices. Reason is they want somebody to stay closer to the office.
Definitely. Well, and you and I have definitely experienced too some of the mutual clients that we've had that
Mhm.
got qualified for a certain amount earlier this year. And now suddenly with the rates dropping, now they can qualify for more house as well. So that has been extremely helpful with the mortgage rate drop.
I think that's also a good thing what you said. If somebody had got a pre-approval 3 months or a 4 months back, now is the time to go check what is the current pre-approval, right? Like it might change now. It would have changed based on the how the rates have dropped. It's reduced almost close to 1% from last 4 5 months, right? It's the lowest in last 2 years. Lowest in last 2 years, the rate right now.
Yes, definitely.
So the listeners, if you want to buy a house or like you're looking to refinance, give us a call. Our studio line numbers are 877 Bali 92. Myself, Realtor Nagarajanaya, and I'm talking to April, and we're discussing about all the Bay Area real estate, and we're talking about the mortgage scenarios. One of the very good thing is like I want to talk about a HELOC. There's a home equity sitting in because they bought a house maybe 2 years or 3 years back. How are the HELOCs are doing right now?
So most of the HELOCs are tied to the prime rate. So whenever you hear the Fed is dropping the rate a 0.5%, it is straight going to affect most HELOCs a 0.5%. So, and they're going to forecast to cut more in the future. So those are coming down little by little for sure.
So, what are the current rates for like since it is tied to the Fed, right? Like, what are the current rates right now for the HELOCs?
So most of the HELOCs are tied at usually if it's 80% loan to value or lower, you're
Mhm.
looking at prime plus zero. So it would be at the whatever the prime rate is. Prime rate now is 8%.
Eight
Uh,
percent. That's really nice. That's great.
yeah.
8% plus 1.5%, or is just 8%?
So if you go up to 80% of the value of the home, typically it's prime plus zero, so it'd be at 8%. If you go up to a 90% value of the home, that's when you have a little bit higher interest rate, which would be prime plus 1.25. So
Wow,
that
it
would
used
be
to be
at about,
close to 10.5%. I remember we used to do it for 10.5% 3 months back or 4 months back. It's almost dropped 2.5%.
yes, it's dropped definitely.
Yeah, that's a very good rate right now. Listeners, if you want to refinance and you're planning to buy a house and would like to understand what is the process of buying a house and how do you qualify for a mortgage and would like to understand, and if you have any queries like, is it the right time to refinance or I should hold on? You can give us a call. Our studio line numbers are 877 Bali 92. Myself, Realtor Nagarajan Annaya, and I'm talking to April, and we're discussing all about the Bay Area real estate market. That's, I think, HELOCs also, like somebody's reason I brought up the HELOC, right? There are two things. One is if somebody having a lot of home equity left over, like his home has appreciated and they would like to pull the home equity and do the home renovations, or they want to buy a secondary home.
Yes,
Home equity helps them out. So because they can use as that as a down payment to buy a second house, correct?
that is correct. Yeah, they just have to qualify with the payment, and you can use that for the down payment of the other residence.
Yeah. And one more thing is like a lot of home buyers, right? Like they might have a not have a 20% down. Should they keep on waiting to build a 20%, or they can buy a house even with a 10 to 15%?
I think getting into the market with the lower down payment is usually smarter. And sometimes too, people want to keep more money in reserves, which I think kind of during this time, it's sometimes better to keep the money in the bank than it is to put it down a larger down payment on the home.
Okay. And one more is like, for example, they want to buy a single family home and a condos. Are the rates are different for a single family homes and a condos, and how do you qualify for a condos?
So typically for condos, most lenders do have different rates if the loan to value goes over 75% loan to value, then typically you'll get hit with a what they call a condo hit. But
Mhm.
my investors don't necessarily differentiate between those.
Mhm.
But depending on how much you put down, you could have either a limited review or a full review of a condo, just because you have to look at the HOA to make sure that it's sound and in good financial status and that the property is in good
So
status.
for you, the rate doesn't change if it is in a condo or single family homes. The rates are the same. Still, the 5.375 holds good.
That is correct.
Since we brought in about the condos, I would like to understand more on the what is HOA questionnaire. Why the lenders are so always before purchase, like before closing, they send out an HOA questionnaire to the homeowners association and like to and filled it up. Why it is all about fuss about HOA questionnaires and how it is very helpful for the buyers who is buying the house. Listeners, we are talking about HOA questionnaire. Reason I'm talking to April on this HOA questionnaire is like before closing, especially lenders send out a questionnaire, some set of questions, like few list of questions to HOA. Understand that a home is worth to buy or not. Why? Maybe the April is a better person to answer for me.
Yeah, so the lender obviously, that's the collateral for the property, so this also protects the buyer, but they want to make sure that the HOA is in good standing and also the property is in good standing. So we've had in the past where there was some deferred maintenance on properties that were big high-rise condominiums,
Mhm.
and unfortunately, they fell down. I mean, it was a very extreme situation that most people wouldn't have. But because of that now, there are certain questions that have to be answered to make sure that the property is doesn't have any deficiencies or any deferred maintenance.
So this is basically to make sure housing or the house doesn't have any issues or like it doesn't file for a bankruptcy, or how does it really helps you guys?
So it depends on if we do a full review, we need financials and some
Financials also
amount of
very important.
reserves. Yeah. If we do a limited review, we're just asking basic questions on just different things about the
How much is the funds left over? And that's also one of the thing you
yeah, it's just
look
more
for.
simplistic where they fill it out and we don't require a full document review of all of the documents
Yeah,
that they have, like CC&Rs and financials and such.
because a lot of lenders are very strict on the HOA questionnaires, and I've seen a lot of purchases have fallen due to the strict regulations on the HOA. How lenient your lenders are.
I'm sorry, can you ask that one more
Like for
time?
example, a lot of home purchases, right? Like especially condos, the questionnaires are very strict.
Yes.
Are there
Yeah.
any like few of the things like as your lender will take care of it? Like for example, they're lenient on the questionnaires, or how is it? Are they very strict in the reviewing it?
So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac has their guidelines that are set in stone and they
Mhm.
only allow certain things. If we find things outside of that, then my investors, I will go to them specifically about that, whatever the particular thing is. They are more lenient because they're just not as black and white. So, there may be things that they look at that they're not as concerned about, whereas a blanket, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac lender or jumbo lender, may not look at it individually.
Yeah, that's very important because reason I was bringing it in because some of the lenders take into the until the last month or last week of closing and they say my underwriter didn't approve.
That's happened quite a few times. And actually on one of them, I think it was actually the one we were doing together,
Correct.
the HOA said, we don't have to answer that question.
Yeah.
Well, if that had been a loan that was done through a Fannie Mae investor or one of my other investors, that it would have shut down the loan completely. So they don't have to answer it, but if they want that person to be able to purchase the loan using Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, then that has to be answered. So it's an interesting quandary, I guess.
Yeah, I think listeners, like if you're giving us a call, do give us a call. I think we got a couple of calls, but not able to take it. If you have any questions on the Bay Area real estate market, give us a call once again. Our studio line numbers are Bali 877 Bali 92. Our system is good to take, but give us a try one more time. Studio line numbers are 877 Bali 92. Myself, Realtor Nagarajan Nayan. I'm talking to April on the refinances and especially how the Bay Area market trends are going on. And if you have anything to like ask us, give us a call. Our studio line numbers are 877 Bali 92. One more thing is, especially a lot of home buyers, right? They're expecting the rates might further drop. Is it a right time to, is it okay to wait for 6 to 12 months? Maybe you can answer based on the mortgage side. What do you think? And I'll answer based on the real estate. So is it for them is better to wait or buy? What do you think?
As far as purchasing, I think now is a good time to buy. Um, if rates continue to go down later, they can take
Hmm?
advantage of that. We can refinance that. And usually the break even as it continues going down is quite quick. So it's easy, especially once you have done a purchase loan, to come back and do a refinance loan with somebody when you've already done their purchase loan is quite easy and quite painless to do that later on for them. So I would say purchase now and refinance later if the benefit is there.
Okay, I think that's a valid point, right? Like for example, if somebody wants to buy a house, you will not find a house immediately, April. Okay, it depends on their requirements. Okay. Some people might be looking for a west-facing home itself. Some people might be looking for a budget under 1.2 million itself. Somebody is looking for a 2.5 million, but they want in a specific areas or a specific neighborhoods. So your house will not come into within a month or within a 15 days. It's basically house purchase. What do I know is a journey of 3 to 6 months. Again, depends on the each individuals, right? Some buyers can jump in, they can buy within a 15 days, 1 month. But you have set of requirements that which you can't get it immediately. Correct. So you're shopping, or like basically you're looking for the homes. So I have one buyer who's like looking from last 6 months, but his specific requirement is I need a spacing, I need in a Dublin. Now they got in a house what they required or whatever the requirements are there, they're okay to put another 50K more than the list price, or like more than the whatever the market demands, because they want the house.
Mhm.
So it again, as I tell you, it's all depends on the individuals and their requirements and what is the purpose they're buying the house.
I think also it's if you're even thinking that you're in the market possibly to buy a house or you're interested, getting pre-approved is
That,
a good idea
yeah.
because you never know when that house is going to come along and they go fast. And the pre-approvals, I mean, I'm not a person that likes to run credit a lot of times. So as long as people keep their financial situation the same, I do a 6 month pre-approval. I will renew that with, updated documentation. I don't need to run credit, but at least it allows you to have that ready if you see something and to kind of know what that looks like, what the monthly payment looks like, what the estimated closing costs might be. And then you can take in all the information to make a good educated decision.
Yeah, I think it's very valid point. Pre-approval. Dude, you're buying a house for yourself. It might be you take it in a 2 months, you're taking in a 6 months. How does one credit pull will go and impact your credit score?
Yeah.
So the credit pull is lot of buyers are scared as soon as a credit pull. Ah, no, 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 I don't want. If you're confident enough of your credit score, then no need of a credit score pull. Like you can use a FICO score and tell the lender, these are my whatever these salary slips, how much I make and everything. Based on that, you can get an estimate. But when you put an offer now, because all the offers in the Bay Area goes with a zero contingencies,
Yeah.
but you found out you bought something 6 months back and you forgot to pay your credit card now. And
I've
one of the FICO score has reduced. What do you do in that case?
I actually have had a situation where somebody wanted to do a soft pull, which I can do.
Mhm,
I don't like doing those. And this is for the reason why. I
mhm.
did the soft pull. Her credit was a certain score above that I needed it to be. It wasn't the greatest credit, but it was where I needed it to be. Got her pre-approved, and now she's in escrow. And I go to pull the actual credit, and her credit score is low because her profile had changed.
See?
Now I had to have her, okay, you have to pay off this. I figured out what she needed to pay off and pay down, and we did a rapid rescore. So we got it to work, but it was a lot of extra work. If I had just done that hard pull right where it was, we would have been ready to go and out the gates. But instead, now we had to like worry about whether or not she was going to be able to purchase this home because now she didn't qualify.
Yeah, that's what I think. When you're buying a house, don't bother about, especially you have a very borderline income sometimes, and you're trying to go higher. I think last week we were helping out one of the client like that. Like he always thought he can go for 1.25, 1.25, but later we look at his incomes and everything. Oh, he's a borderline. He can't go for a one for more than 1.2. That also he needs to come with 20% down.
Yeah, and that's what happens. People get into, and if people pick a lender for a prequal where they don't really do a pre-approval, where they don't actually look at the documents and
Yeah.
see what the approval, they just go, "Oh, okay, you say you make that much," or "Oh, you just gave me this," and they don't really know. Later on, I see people all the time that suddenly a lender cannot do a loan
Yeah.
because they pre-approved them, and for whatever reason, now they can't get the loan for them.
Yeah, that's why buying a house or selling a house is always a team effort. And which team you're working, that matters very important in the Bay Area real estate market. Don't always think about how much I get the commission back. No, think about is he able to fulfill your niche? Are you going to get a good house where you can stay for 3 months, like not 3 months, or you want to stay for longer time and the home can appreciate in the future and fulfills your needs. Thank you for so much for listening in today. April, if somebody wants to talk to you, how they can reach out to you?
They can reach out to me at 949-306-8100.
Yes, so, sorry, listeners, we were not able to take the calls, but you can give us a call after the show. As April mentioned, you can call her at 949-306-8100. And if you can't reach out to April, if she is busy, you can give to a call to me at Go to nagrajhomes.com, click on a WhatsApp icon, and I would be able to share our number also. So you can talk to her and anything on the Bay Area real estate market. If you would like to more educate about yourself, go and subscribe to Nagraj Annaya's YouTube channel. It's a wealth of information, especially on the mortgage, especially on refinancing, home buying, selling, and even on the immigration stuff. All the topics are covered in here. And thank you so much, April, for joining in there. And have a wonderful evening, listeners.
Thank you. You too.
Yeah, thank you.